Let me know when we're ready. Smoke some hash, talk about some weed, and a couple other things. And whatever you want to talk about, more importantly.
I've been on a gummy kick recently.
All right, we'll talk about gummies.
Live rosin gummies for like the last month.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see. We're recording? All right, we are back. Masonic Smoker Podcast. Thank you guys for watching the Patreon. Make sure you guys go check out MasonicSeeds.co. We always got dope stuff on there. Today we have a special guest coming in all the way from NorCal. We got my buddy Sean, Flying Lion Research. But I'm going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Howdy, y'all. Started in 2004, growing Trainwreck and Shishka Berry. Going to college, UC Santa Cruz.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Go banana slugs?
Yes.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah. So, whatever major you got, you also learn through osmosis how to trim, how to grow, since, you're renting the spot, and everyone else who, has space to rent also has a grow in the garage.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of the passion of people in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to get in there.
2004, how old are you in 2004?
Oh, shit. Yeah, that was 20 years ago, so 21.
21.
Yep.
21 in Santa Cruz, 2004, growing Trainwreck.
Yep.
And you were in college, it was like your first year?
Uh,
Did you go to like the
third year. So I was a junior when I first started growing weed, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Even before that, let's see, I had like the rollerblade crew. So we go to San Francisco and skate the ledges. And
Where are you from?
are
you from Santa Cruz?
Yeah.
You're from Santa Cruz?
Born and raised in
That's
Santa
what's
Cruz.
up, G.
Yeah.
So, I hate to cut off, but funny story. I've always had a thing for Santa Cruz growing up. Because my brother went to UC Santa Cruz.
Okay, sweet.
My brother Jesse Pena, he went to
Nice.
Santa Cruz. He was the manager at Woodstock for a long time.
Oh, it's nice.
So the Woodstock pizza, yeah.
Yeah.
So he went out there and I would go as a. Keep in mind, we live here. We live in the hood. This is Watts is right here. I'm pointing at the Watts Towers.
Yes.
The Compton courthouse is right there, and we're just in the middle of all that shit. Santa Cruz is a long way from here. It's not like
Yes, it is.
and it's night and day over there. Very serene, very woodsy. Fucking outdoor men vibes. Over here, it's fucking gritty and grimy.
Oh yeah.
But as a 9th grader, 10th grader, 15-year-old, 16-year-old,
Okay.
when my brother went to Santa Cruz, it was my first insight into. Besides Mexico, but something else, and it was Santa Cruz, and I loved weed, so it was yo, this place is magical. I want to go visit my brother. Because they got weed over there. And when I did, I ended up at the Boys and Girls Club. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was really good at it. Nice. And there was a Jamaican kid. His name was Zeffy there, and Zeffy and me. Well, I was beating everybody, and Zeffy kind of hey man, you look like you smoke weed. Somehow, some way, we ended up talking about weed. Somehow, some way, I got all the kids to come back to my brother's college, housing. Not not at Santa Cruz, but the place that they rented out with their people. So imagine your roommate's little brother that he invited has all these random fucking kids from the Boys and Girls Club at your house. Yep. So I did that, and then we're just all hanging out, playing Yu-Gi-Oh, smoking weed, badass kids. There's one kid who doesn't do drugs, and it was my first time being around somebody like that. My brother did drugs, and now it's I get it, but we're smoking weed, dude. Don't be a fucking buzzkill.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm in Santa Cruz, kid from South Central, just maneuvering crowds, being bad, and we're at my brother's, and Zeffy's yo, I have a friend who's Ethiopian. He has family out somewhere. Turns out it's Bonnie Doon.
Oh,
out in Bonnie Doon.
Bonnie Doon's amazing for growing.
And keep in mind, I'm 15, 16.
Okay.
And I'm fuck yeah, weed, where? And I call my mom. It's flip phone era or singular era. It wasn't fucking iPhone era. And if there was an iPhone, we didn't have one yet. We weren't there yet.
Yep.
As far as our family income. And I hit up my mom. I'm hey mom, I met a friend. Can I go with him? My mom is very whatever, dude. Figure it out. Go ahead. tell my brother, hey, mom said I could go. I'm gonna go with this kid I met, Zeffy, Jamaican kid. Wherever the fuck we're going, you know?
Yeah.
See you later. Sure enough, this like Geo Metro pulls up with like an Ethiopian family, I want to say, you know, like dressed to the T. They got the AM radio on, and his friend, the Ethiopian kid who's our age too, he's the one that, you know, that's the barrier or like the one that got us into, you know, the car pretty much, because Zeffy's friends with the Ethiopian kid whose family works in Bonnie Doon.
Oh, yeah.
So we drive out to Bonnie Doon. We end up like at like a hippie-ish music studio / weed place. Okay. And they're like, yeah, they grow weed here. I'm just waiting for the weed. They bring out like some type of hash, like, you know, some type of rolled up hash. They had like big bags of trims where we could pull out the popcorn nugs. Sure. Whatever, I was happy. Sure. But either way, like Santa Cruz, Bonnie Doon, I came back home with like tons of shake and like popcorn nugs. You know, where normally we would pay $50 an eighth to $60, or we would just smoke stress, brickweed. And this was like me like going into like, you know, better lands, you know, better pastures.
That's real.
Yep. So
nice.
So Santa Cruz, Bonnie Doon, you know, always had like I never knew you were like from there, and like,
oh yeah,
fucking, you don't claim it that much. Like one might, like Santa Cruz, fucking in your face, you know.
Oh, you know, it's like Paradise Lost for me now. You know, it's changed so much since I grew up there. Amazon, corporations, everyone moved in, got taken over by fucking junkies and fucking.
That I did notice when I went there. There was a dude named Francesco there. He was my brother's roommate, and Francesco was talking about how like people do drugs here, and it was my first time, kind of like very like blissful, like running through the game, like, oh, they do drugs here, but it's so nice, like the weed's so good, like why would they do drugs here? And that was my train of thought when I went there. Like here, I get it why they do drugs. It's fucking terrible here, you know?
Concrete forever.
But over there, it's all like, why they do drugs here?
I agree. Well, what they do, they escape from the Bay Area. Yeah. And so then it attracts all sorts of people, you know, people who want to bring their families and vacation on the beach for a day, or the junkies who want to like, you know, hide under the bridge and not get hassled. Yeah. You know, so.
Fucking A, man. Yeah. Santa Cruz, man. Look, got Santa Cruz on the table.
Oh,
right
yeah. Here. I know, homie. Evermore. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
South Central, Santa Cruz, SC, you know, it's all.
It's all related.
It's all related.
Yes.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Fucking Santa Cruz. So, fucking, you were saying about the rollerblade crew before you started growing. What's up with the rollerblade crew?
So, you know, kind of like where they made that Tony Hawk video game, the first level was in Barcadero. It's this world famous skating spot. And there was this Friday night skate that kind of evolved there for rollerbladers, you know, before cell phones, before any of that, late 90s. Everyone would BART or bus from all over the Bay and meet Friday night. Sometimes our crew would be 300 strong. And it was all the videographers from LA. They'd drive up who make the fancy rollerblade trick videos, and people would film, people do stunts. And that's how I first kind of got aware of, you know, the interconnected nature of like heady peeps and people who grew and all these other things that were happening. And obviously when you're doing stunts, you get injured. And so then my fallback would be like video games while I'm like putting my leg up. And I played the first multiplayer online massive game. Now they're just everywhere. Yeah. It's called Ultima Online.
Okay.
And I built up the account and had all the stats and all the skills, right? And then I got accepted to UC Santa Cruz, and I was like, oh, this is my time. I got to let this game go. I sold that shit for $550 for my online account in 99.
Fucking A.
I took that money, bought new rollerblades, and my first ounce of cannabis that I then sold eighths out of when I got to college. And from there, I've built everything from that moment.
That's fucking
Now
dope.
I have my own farm. Now I have employees, all that. It all started with that.
That first investment.
Yes.
Very smart. Very, very meticulous. And that's crazy that you know still, like, that was your battle plan. That, like, you had to grow up. You had to sell your fucking account to get some re-up to like, you know, maneuver in college. What was the first ounce of weed that you bought to break down in eighths that you sold in college?
That would be the White Widow.
The White Widow.
Yes.
All right.
It was the dankest weed at the time, and people were willing to pay 50 or even 60 an eighth.
This was at UCSC.
UC Santa Cruz.
UC Santa Cruz.
Yes.
UCSC. Yeah, UCSC. Yeah. Fuck yeah. That's so cool. That's a dope thing. The Ultima game. What was that's what it was called, right?
Yeah, Ultima Online.
What was that game? What was it like?
It's basically a simpler version of World of Warcraft or all the things people
walk
play
around
today.
and fucking hit shit.
Yeah, and then you could, build your online house and like have your vendors to resell things within the game.
Have you revisited any of those type of games?
Yeah, when I was looking for my farm, I was playing it and I made a promise to myself I'd let it go again as soon as I got my real farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking A,
Absolutely.
Man. Do you maneuver in real life the same way you do with your character on Ultima, where you're like you have to like, okay, we're gonna like, you're on a mission, there's a side quest, but the grand mission is the mission, and you gotta
absolutely,
like, you wake up every day and like, you know, you got so much energy and you gotta and then you gotta go to sleep or else you're gonna die.
It's called goals, right? You got short-term goals, you got long-term goals.
Yeah.
You got short-term sacrifices to make the short-term goals come quicker. You got bigger sacrifices that make the long-term goals end up quicker in your life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What year were you born?
83.
83?
Yes.
All right. Fucking 80s baby, man. 80s baby. You guys had all the cool shit growing up. We the 90s babies got to, got the last ride, and I don't know. That's how I look at it, like, because now we got all this shit. There was a point where the phone is like, what you mean FaceTime? Like, we're gonna be able to talk to each other on the phone like that?
Oh, I had no idea the paradise on earth was putting 35 cents in my pocket and then rollerblading and meeting my friends at City Hall so we could grind all day.
Yeah.
And then when it got dark, put 35 cents in a payphone and call my mom to pick my ass up.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was as good as it got.
Yeah.
And these kids today, they can't skate for shit.
Oh, man.
They're fucking disconnected from their bodies. It's all the Babylon government plan, right? Make people rely on you. They're not independent.
True, man.
That's what skateboarding, all that, biking, anything that requires stunts and friends, that's what builds independence.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember I always wanted to, like, I loved the idea of skating, right? Like, fuck, that's dope. Always played Tony Hawk, always tech deck. Kind of heavy-footed, kind of like grounded, like my I'm heavy at the bottom, So in middle school, there was the skater crew. And I liked rock music, and I went to school in South Central, so it was like, there was the rockers, and there was like the badass kids that like did bad shit, and then there was the soccer kids. And I'm like, I'm gonna go hang out with the rockers. And then there was me, right?
All right.
But that was like, if there was factions, those would be the three identities, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I'm gonna hang out with the rockers. Cause fucking, I don't want to hang out with the other two,
Yeah.
And I would, and they would skate, and I would be like, fuck yeah, I want to hang out with you skaters, and my chubby ass would like run and grab a bike and do whatever I had to do to keep up with these kids. And then finally in high school, I like manned up and put my foot on the board, and I have like a weird style where I put my foot on is it the front of the board? And I go like this.
Okay.
And then I go like this.
All right.
So I was never good at like regular boards.
Yeah.
I was better at like sector 9s and long
Okay.
boards.
Okay.
But real fucking clut when it comes to the skateboarding. But in high school I was very, very like, I had 10 boards. I would go down the steepest hill that I could go down, and I would use my left leg to break down,
Oh, yeah.
And probably that steep. Nothing past that.
Yeah.
Or nothing past, X, Y, Z long. Because
Sure.
fucking,
Sure.
I wasn't that guy,
Yeah.
But always loved the idea to this day,
Yeah, like there was other traps just like there are now for kids, but they were just different, So we
Yeah.
didn't know that fast food was bad for us. So we'd be, going into Wendy's, filling up our refills, skating, and then filling it up again, just drinking liquid sugar.
Fucking
And
A.
then that eventually, broke this arm, broke this leg, broke this hand. Right, like, and on that journey of breaking all my fucking bones, I learned more about health food, and then getting to UC Santa Cruz, you go to the farmers market. That's the real knowledge. You're like, oh shit, the farmers are teaching you how to make nice veggies, farm raised animals, all the like direct, non corporate food. And then one day I had been eating it for like a year, and I took a fall that I guarantee would have broken my bones again, but I had that nutrition in me and I just got a bruise and I felt it. And that was like the whole culture of Santa Cruz was like, hey, come to the potluck. You're a freshman in college. We do the potluck. The potluck was all the heady growers sharing their heady weed and then everyone also making the like nicest food you've ever seen. So people be battling over how fancy they could make their enchiladas.
No shit.
Oh yeah.
Is the potluck still around?
It kind of evaporated with the whole corporate takeover of the university itself in the last
right.
10 years, yeah.
No
But it
doubt.
was strong for a while there.
No doubt.
Yes.
Fucking dope, man. Shout out the rollerblading club, man, and all that stuff. My brother used to rollerblade when we were kids because it was that like it was in. I want to say like when
Yeah.
I was growing up.
Yeah.
And I remember he had like the big rollerblades, and he probably broke a bone or two. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking a.
Yeah, I don't like, sitting in the car too long, so I like plan out my drives.
Yeah.
So I stopped in Patterson. It's like this nowhere middle of off the 5, and there's a dope ass skate park, and that's what I hit yesterday.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start? I mean, what would you identify as like grower, seed maker, fucking more than one thing? I want to say from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
What would you like? What would you say? Titles, if you had to give yourself a title.
Well, I first started with, selling weed, but I quickly evolved because of these, knowledge keepers in Santa Cruz who were teaching me about all of the things available. And once I learned about hash and full melt hash, then I became the like full melt dealer way before rosin was invented, any of these things. Like we had bricks coming in. There was the Iraq war and the Afghanistan war that were going on there. And so the soldiers were bringing back bricks, kilos, pressed with a gold symbol in Arabic, right? And we're talking probably 5% opiated to keep it all sticky.
Okay.
And that's what people were just so stoked. They had no idea. Most people like didn't know what hash was in 2001. 2002, 2003. And I was just the hash man.
That's crazy.
And I like hired glass blowers to try to invent something close to what we know as a dab today.
All right.
So I was like already understanding that like, oh, it's really just the crystals. It's just the trichomes. Like that's what I want. We smoke all this carbonated weed that has all this carbon just to get the crystals. Why don't we just
grow the heads?
Yeah, grow the heads and press them, and that was fucking awesome. People were so stoked, and the high is more, for me at least, athletic. Because that's what I've always done is like you use good hash and then go to the skate park.
Yeah.
Go on hikes.
Good hash, productive day.
Yeah.
Shitty hash, shitty day. Fucking, I don't want to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Eventually, we had so much. I had learned to make edibles for the first time when I was a freshman, but they made it with just garbage trim, right? But then I had all this hash. I was like, oh, let's just cut a fucking 10-gram block and make some cookies.
Fucking A.
And I was in love, and like, it's the summer in Santa Cruz. I'm like with my girlfriend, in love for the first time. Like, it's pretty much paradise on earth, right? And then how do you make it even better? Boom, add those hash cookies. Every day in the morning, we would just reheat the hash cookies and eat them and be fucking high for 16 hours and just go on these epic hikes, swim in the ocean.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's fucking dope. Living it up.
Yeah.
Living it up. 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Night and day now. Fucking.
Everything's changed fast. Yeah. I remember the first time I got to try Moroccan hash, like real, the word is nokka.
Okay.
And so there's a sacred stone. They have a whole curing technique to get it real brittle. And then you hit it against this stone while you have all these silk screens underneath. And then you press that. And yeah, that's kind of how I met my friend Dorian, who runs Beazle, you know.
Okay.
And I was just up in a tree smoking a joint, you know, and just enjoying paradise at the campus there. And Dorian came up to smoke a joint in the tree that I was already in, and they couldn't even see me. I was so chill, just laid back in the tree. And they're like, "Well, there's someone already up here smoking a joint." I was like, "Yeah, bro, come on."
That's crazy.
And then he was like, "Oh, like, you know, my dad went to Morocco for 4 years instead of going to college and just studied how they make hash here." And that was the first time I felt hash all the way in my fingertips. And I was like, "Oh, this is a whole other thing."
Fucking A.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's super dope. First time I seen hash, I think one of my dad's buddies, rest in peace, Ray. He was kind of one of the first person that showed me a lot of weed plants. He just had like this. It was like a 16 dram vial from CVS or whatever, and he like cracked it open, pulled out a brick, cut off half, and just handed it to me. And I was like, "What? I've heard of this stuff, you know?"
Yeah.
And it was really, really good, you know?
Yeah.
Really, really good. Hash, something about that type of hash too has like a more full body effect on me, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, by 2006, I had met breeders who were breeding for full melt because that was the fanciest hash at the time.
Can you name some of the first full melt breeders that you met, 18 years ago?
Oh, I mean, it's just this guy Tyler. He just saved what he could so he could start a family and raise them in Hawaii. You know, he's there now.
Okay.
But he taught me how to grow and how to make full melt, and I would come over there and we would put on a movie. You know, that was his whole thing. You don't use the paint mixer. You do it real slow and gentle. You know, it was just like nice trim. But we made profiles that, you know, today you can't even find. So this year I'm going back into my stash to find Tyler's seeds that he gave me all those years ago.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
If you could describe one of those profiles, if you could put a finger on it.
So, you know, Brandon has the awesome watermelon Z.
Yeah.
You know, but Tyler's watermelon, fuck, shit was watery.
Okay.
It was like the water, like fresh rain kind of terp with that fruity watermelon just in your face. Unmistakable. No gas, no Z. Straight watermelon hash.
That's what's up.
That was my favorite back in the day.
That's what's up. You got to find that stash, man.
I will find it.
Bring it back. We did a watermelon granita goji OG.
Oh, yeah, Bodie's.
And we call it Sandoji.
Okay.
Like Sandia,
Yeah.
but goji OG, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a strain that we're really proud of that we've been working on here at the farm. It
Sweet.
grows like goji, and it has that really nice like gacky mimosa-esque, you know, type of smell. Like
Sweet.
Really, really sweet. I want to say myrcene is what my buddy Jaden was telling me it is. But yeah, that's what I'm dealing with on that plant. Really, really proud of that plant. Fucking throws down fat, grows like goji.
Sweet.
Yeah, and it's the goji OG cut that Hayes Valley Nursery was selling.
Yeah, so straight from Bodie.
Yeah, so it's
Awesome.
that selection across to our watermelon granita Mel that we found in one of those Midwest packs. Yeah, just working.
Yeah, I bred with one of your strains because it smelled like the old school watermelon I remember from Tyler. The Coco Mero Biscotti.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh man, that one was good.
Yeah, you know who gave me those seeds was Canorado.
Oh.
Yeah, so the first Ego Clash I ever went to, there was just this dude in the cave. He doesn't show his face on Instagram. So there's this dude in the cave.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What's up, man? Like what's up?" Canorado. Oh, fuck, it's Canorado, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, "Here, take this." And, you know, I don't know, but I do things the way I do things. Like, I went home, I popped them and made seeds with them. You know,
Sure.
like I don't, that's what I do. Like, you know, and I guess.
Open up the genome.
And I think some people, they, I don't know, I'm assuming, I'm being an ass right now, but I'm assuming he didn't really like that, you know, because I didn't really get nothing like hey, like follow up or like, hey, what's up, you know? I guess he kind of seen it as like, this motherfucker, you know?
Yeah, it happens.
And I'm just like, whatever, life goes on, you know? But I seen him recently at it's Groovy Gravy in Colorado last year. Here we go again. He doesn't show his face, so I only seen him twice in my life.
Yeah.
3 times in my
Yeah.
life. I go to a lot of events, keep in mind. And somebody comes into my booth. What's up? I'm like, what's up? He's like, it's Canorado. I'm like, oh, fucking idiot. I'm like, what's up, dude? Like, I'm so sorry. Fucking, you don't show your face, you know. But yeah, that's who I got those seats from. Was fucking Canorado. G.
Yeah.
He gave me that whole vitamin G Cocomero line.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we hit that with the Chili Verde mail from HBK.
Fuck yeah.
To make the spicy watermelon.
Yeah.
And then I heard at the Ego Clash this last year, people got a 5.5%er. And
beautiful,
super rare terp that they've never found before.
Beautiful.
So we're gonna do a big row of 100 this year with that one.
I love to hear it.
Make a F2,
First time I tried Chile Verde was what? Do you know the company? They have like a moon face. I think it's like Full Moon Harvest or Harvest Moon Gardens or something like that.
Yes, they
so
do.
They
do nice farming methods.
They had a nice Chile Verde, so that was the first time I tried it. And I was like, yo, like, I like this. Like, what is this? It's Chile Verde. Like, okay. And then Emerald Cup 2018, PCG's lineup, they had Chile Verde on the thing.
Okay.
So I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. I went up north, grabbed all the cuts, brought them back. And that's when I made the Chile Verde Wilson.
Nice.
But yeah, I grew the Chile Verde out by itself. We made hash with it. We call it the chile relleno, just a play on words for a Mexican dish.
Sure.
But either way, like Chile Verde, I fuck with Chile Verde heavy, man. And
it's got lavender in it. That's why I like it.
There's another, and just randomly talking about the Chile Verde, Santa Cruz. My brother one time came back with some lavender.
All right.
And you know what? You're making pieces click.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember the lavender, just as quick as I fell in love with it, it was gone.
I learned to trim in 2004. My friend had an indoor with lavender and purple Urkel. And people say they have those strains today. I never seen anything as pretty.
Bro.
This shit finished ripe with pink hairs. Pink as that painting.
Yeah.
Like.
That's beautiful.
Amazing looking.
That's crazy, man.
That was the hype then, because it was like they could sell the, pounds for, what, 55, 6 in Atlanta. So the dudes from Oakland would come up and here's $46,000. I'll have 10 pounds of purple Urkel, please.
Fucking shit, man.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, that was amazing stuff.
You were like so the stuff that I took a muse from when I was a kid, like I wasn't on forums. Like my weed relation was buying from gangbangers, medical dispensaries, and the little window into the big world of Santa Cruz.
Okay.
And very, very small window. Like, okay, I kind of see it. And that was it.
Okay.
And then Instagram came around.
Okay.
And then it's like, whoa, what the fuck's all this shit,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got in there early because obviously I was a freshman moving cannabis on the campus, which is what the local growers who already graduated look for. So people be coming, walking around, you see Santa Cruz being like, hey man, you're cool, here, try some weed, right? And then eventually they would front you their homegrown and you'd sell it. And I had enough awareness to use my rollerblades, get a bunch of pounds in my backpack, get my 215 license, and park. And I planned out a route, and I would be able to stop by 7 clubs in less than an hour in San Francisco. So I'd take all those pounds grown in Santa Cruz, park my car, and boom, and just rollerblade into 7 different stores. At the very bottom of the hill, the green door, they would always cash me out for everything that was left. And once I went in there a couple times, they would be like, that's the rollerblade guy. Don't make him take his skates off. He has the dank. Security guy would let me through without taking my skates off. And, Divinity and all these places that, are now gone, but they had the dank back in the 215 days. And that taught me about what moves in the store, right? It's like that is the sustainable model. Now you get the hype brands with all the packaging, and then what's inside is shit. Back then it was like if whatever was medicine the best also just moved the fastest. So then the growers who knew what they were doing, they kept gaining in popularity organically. Yeah. The free market potential.
I remember going into dispensaries and they got the jars and You get to smell as many as you'd like, depending on their rules. Sometimes it's like, hey, no, no bullshitting. Like, get your shit and go. But most of the times, like, have at it. Smell as many as you'd like. Fucking, and it was always dank. It was always $50.
Yep.
And you go home fucking happy. Now it's all like, I rarely go, but from the outside looking in, it's a fucking kiosk. It's an iPad. It's I want to say someone that fucking isn't like an avid, smoker. Somebody they hired yesterday. I don't fucking know, but
no, you do know.
It's like that's what it is, and then you go home, you buy the packaging, and the packaging is 1,000 times better than the fucking weed.
Yep.
Every single time.
That's a good metaphor for where we're at in society, right? It's like the Barbie movie spent more on marketing than the actual movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's kind of this weird faux world we live in where people don't know the real thing. You should be able to smell your weed before you get it. God damn.
Yeah.
You know?
That's and yeah, that shit's whack. I know you can still smell your weed at a couple shops, but most of them you can't,
You're right.
I'm not going to generalize.
Only because they're connected to like when they were selling back in the 215 days.
Yeah.
When people cared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have an idea of how to fucking sustain pretty much.
Yes.